going on, guys? This is the Floww State Podcast. I'm your host, Mateo Flow, sitting here with my co-host, Big Mace.
Yo.
Man, we got some exciting news, some exciting fight news coming to you. We got a big card coming up this weekend. Well, a big card for us at least. We're fans of two of these guys in the main event. Go ahead and let's kick it off. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, so we got Grant Dawson versus Bobby Green. Both, obviously, Grant Dawson, up-and-coming fighter that has really impressed in his 8 or 9 UFC fights. And then Bobby Green, just a veteran and fan favorite of the UFC, coming off a surprising submission win against Tony Ferguson. So very excited for this main event and see how Grant Dawson fares against Bobby Green. What do you think?
Man, Bobby Green versus Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson is the up and coming bull. Bobby Green's the old dog. That old dog's got some pop in his punches. That's one thing that I think Grant Dawson needs to be very wary of. And that old dog's got a dog in him.
Yeah. Power's the last thing to go. It's one of the last things to go.
That is what they say. He's not too old. I think he's, what is he, 30, 36, 37?
Mid-30s.
He's not too old, honestly. But yeah, Bobby Green just had a very impressive win over Tony Ferguson. Submitted him with an arm triangle. That was a very big fight for Tony. I mean, let's be honest, every single fight over the last couple fights has been a big fight for Tony. No one expected or would probably have predicted that Bobby Green would get a submission over Tony. Maybe a TKO would have been more likely if that was his key to victory. But let's see, because Grant Dawson is the self-proclaimed white Habib, I just found out about this cat recently, and he is a beast, man. He is on the up and coming of the UFC. His grappling is ridiculous. I mean, we haven't seen him against the top tier competition yet in the UFC, but dude, from what I saw against his last opponent, man, it impressed me enough to follow him and to just continue watching his fights, man. His grappling is ridiculous, dude. He does look like the white Habib to me. I mean, and in this instance here, Bobby Green is going to try to stand and bang. It's the classic striker versus grappler matchup, The only reason Tony Ferguson got submitted is because he was trying his own types of submissions and stuff like that. But can Bobby Green keep it on the feet?
I don't think so. I'll give you guys a background on Grant Dawson. For those that don't know him, he's currently the number 10 ranked lightweight in UFC. He's coming off of a just dominant performance against Damir Ismagulov. A stat that I looked into, because he in his last fight he dominated Ismagulov. He had over 12 minutes of control time in a 15-minute fight. And I thought that, let's see, in his 9 UFC fights, how much control time overall he has. So out of 115 minutes of total control time, he has 73 minutes of control time. So 115 minutes of fighting, 73 minutes of control time. This guy averages, I think it was just a little over 8 minutes of control time a fight. This guy knows how to take people down, hold them down, and not let them get up. And most of his submission victories are rear naked choke. If he gets your back, he's done. You're done. Bobby Green, if he gets your back, you're done. Like, this guy does not let you stand back up. He will hold you down. And his one knockout in the UFC, I don't know if you remember that, but he literally he was standing up, and the guy he was fighting, I forget who it was trying to get up. And he just kind of like back-fisted him a few times and knocked him out. So he's got power in his hands too, So I definitely, my fight prediction for this, I love Bobby Green, and Bobby Green will always have hands, man. He's really great boxer, but I don't know if he's going to be able to handle that pressure from Grant Dawson, that grappling pressure.
See, this is the striker versus grappler, but it's more so the boxer versus grappler because Bobby Green mainly uses his hands.
Yeah.
So in that instance, a lot of, I'm not knocking Bobby Green at all. I love Bobby Green to death. I think he's a legend in the sport. He's a badass dude. I saw him at the UFC fight night. He passed by me in his Versace shirt. I saw him too late, but he was with some model. He went down to his section. But Bobby Green, I tried to get your autograph when I saw you, but you were on a hot date, so I didn't want to bother you. But Bobby Green's hands, man, are straight up, they're legit. The thing is, a lot of these complete strikers, when it's the striker versus grappler, a lot of these complete strikers utilize the front kicks, utilize the knees to deter the grappler from shooting in. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's capable of doing that, but how proficient is he in that aspect to get Grant Dawson to not be able to implement his game plan? I honestly think that Grant Dawson is
the truth.
He's the truth, but I think his grappling is superior compared to Bobby Green's boxing. I think that overall, typically, personally, I'm going to always choose the strong grappler against the striker.
Yeah.
That's not always the case because if they are a very complete striker and one of the best in the UFC, they can dominate against the strong grappler. I mean, just look at what happened with Sean O'Malley and Aljamain Sterling. It took one shot to his dome, and
he's done.
He's going down. I mean, same thing could be said for when Conor McGregor fought Khabib. Khabib had never lost a round until he fought Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor was, arguably one of the best strikers in the UFC. So, I mean, that's my take on that. I just don't think that Bobby Green's
well-rounded enough for,
I just don't think that he's well-rounded enough for Grant Dawson. I think Grant Dawson, I mean, he has power if he's knocking guys out like that.
And I'll tell you what, I think this fight seems like kind of like just a gateway fight for Grant Dawson. Bobby Green's coming off a win for sure against Tony, but Bobby Green has been kind of riding that rocky path for a while. So I think it's prove it. Grant Dawson, you can beat a UFC veteran, and I wouldn't be surprised if because he's number 10. I wouldn't be surprised if most of those top 10 fighters avoid a fight against Grant, because I look at that top 10 and in terms of grappling, I don't think many people can compete with him in that sphere besides maybe Islam. Charles has great jiu-jitsu as well, a great ground game, great off his back. But besides those two guys, like a lot of great strikers in that top 10. Yeah. Not a lot of just dominant elite grapplers like Grant Dawson. So I can see some fighters denying a fight, kind of fading Grant Dawson in the future, because if he beats Bobby Green, which I do think he will, he's going to get someone that's just as elite, but maybe not in the same realm of skill sets. Get what I'm saying?
I would love to see him, beat Bobby Green and then see him challenge himself against some of those other elite grapplers. I would love to. It's always cool to see, if it's fool's gold or gold, man. Going back to what Bryce Mitchell said. I mean, you can't put it any better than that. Is Grant Dawson really as great of a grappler against these elite guys? We have to find out. And, the only way to find out is to just keep stacking up your wins. And I do think he, gets victory over Bobby Green. I mean.
Yeah. Another thing to know, too, he just switched not too long ago to America Top Team. So that's
great camp.
Great camp. I forget, do you remember where he was at before? I know there was drama going on with, no?
I'm not sure where he came.
Well, yeah, he's at American Top Team, which is just obviously they just push out
Champions.
phenomenal fighters. Yeah, so looking forward to seeing this fight against Bobby Green. I think Grant Dawson dominates it. If I'm a betting man, I'm taking Grant Dawson by submission finish. So that's my bet for the fight this weekend.
Yeah, I gotta go Dawson. I love you, Bobby Green, but I gotta go Grant Dawson, the grappler.
Yeah. So that's this weekend. A couple weekends from now, October 14th, we have Logan Paul versus Dillon Dannis. Much anticipated. A lot of back and forth, shit talking between the two of them. Lawsuits involved. What are your thoughts, man?
Let's give a little bit of backstory. So, those of you that don't know, Dillon Dannis is a 4-time jiu-jitsu world champion, black belt. I think he trained under Marcelo Garcia for a while. He ended up getting kicked out of the gym based on some of his antics that you are seeing today in his promotion for this fight. You still see to this day that that's his tactics are to, he says it, the art of war. For him, it's just the art of war, but
it's getting into each other's head.
He likes to get into his opponent's head. He's a 4-time jiu-jitsu world champion, phenomenal jiu-jitsu player. He's fought in Bellator twice. He's had 2 submissions. He had some good ground and pound before those submissions as well. Didn't really get to see too much of him on his feet because he shot right in. He was relentless and he looked good, man. He looked good in his 2 Bellator fights. He's had some pretty serious injuries on his knee and stuff, so he's been out of the game. I think his last fight was 4 years ago. He's had to pull out for injuries and stuff like that.
I think he made a good business decision. He could have kept fighting and probably injured himself more. But think about kind of the path he took, right? Phenomenal fighter, but he kind of got some, a following, and then he turned into kind of social media star, Well,
not only that, he's also one of Conor McGregor's training partners for his jiu-jitsu, his grappling.
Right.
That's kind of,
I guess,
how I found out about him.
The point I'm trying to make, right, is if Dillon just quits after his injury, right, and doesn't kind of try to, Dillon's fighting Logan for a reason, and it's not because of his MMA past. It's because of his social media presence, right? So he's been building himself up for years now. Years, right? Because he was a fan. He didn't fight that much, but he had a following quick because of the way he is, So I guess my point is that he made a good business decision. He's taken a lot of time off, but as well as staying relevant in the social media world, and now he's going to get a huge payoff, win or lose, against Logan Paul.
Well, for those of you that don't know, Logan Paul is a social media sensation. YouTuber. I believe him and his brother started out on
Vine,
Disney.
right?
Well, Disney Channel, I think they started on first.
Was it Disney first?
They did Disney, they did Vine, YouTube now.
They've been around for a while, just putting content out. Crazy content, weird content, goofballs.
So Logan Paul had an exhibition match against Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny to watch, honestly.
It was interesting. He tagged Floyd a few times. I'm not even gonna lie.
Floyd, man. Oh my God. He was. Logan Paul was like trying to do a backyard.
He's just wailing.
He's just wailing on him. And he's so much bigger than Floyd. Yeah. It looks so weird. It was so awkward to watch. Like the skill levels, how different it was. It was crazy, man.
Yeah, it's some people. There's always the argument, like, does size matter when it comes to fighting? I mean, Floyd's arguably the best boxer in the world of all time. And, if that was a street mat fight, who wins that? You know, because
man, in a street fight, I got to give my prediction to Logan Paul, man. Number one reason, Logan Paul is bigger, stronger, and he has a background in wrestling. I believe he wrestled in high school.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I
Like
saw
wrestling
him
and football, I think.
I saw him training with Volkanovski and Israel, Adesanya. And dude, they're athletes, bro.
Yeah,
they're
both him and Jake for sure.
They are athletes. The Paul brothers are athletes, and in a street fight, I got to give my prediction to Logan Paul. Dude, Dana White, it's funny as hell, because Dana White said, he said, have you seen Floyd Mayweather's hands? He was like, they look like, he's like, if he punched the wall, he said his hands are like peanut brittle.
Hey, and no disrespect to Floyd, man. Greatest boxer of all time, arguably. But Logan Paul is massive.
But
compared to
Floyd Mayweather's style is not a style that is a street fight style.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather is the king of hitting and not getting hit.
Yeah.
Being smart in the ring.
Good defense, great counters.
He's not there trying to ground and pound, a big huge dude. Like he's trying to hit, not get hit, and get his check.
And outsmart you.
Which
you. Footwork.
We can a lot of people can hate on that all day long, but
it gets him the wins,
he gets the wins without the brain damage. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have to suffer from CTE or anything like that. Like if you're that skilled, I don't blame him. I don't blame him for not going in there and taking all this brutal punishment just to give people a show. Like,
dude, it was hilarious watching that fight. I'm just thinking back. Now it's in my head, the Logan Paul Floyd. Because Logan was like, if I knock Floyd Mayweather out, my stock goes through the fucking roof. Even though it doesn't count on the record. It was just an exhibition. He's like, he was trying his hardest to put away Floyd. And he had some slip through that I was like, oh, shit. Because heavy swings, man. Just heavy swings.
I mean, the size, dude.
Yeah,
dude, how much does he weigh? 200?
He's got to be 200 something. Yeah,
he's bigger than Jake.
Yeah, I know.
Floyd Mayweather is tiny, bro.
I know.
Have you seen this man in a wife beater?
I know.
Like, I'm not knocking Floyd. Like Floyd's a legend, but let's call a spade, man. Like he's a much smaller guy. So I don't know how we started talking about Floyd.
We were talking about Logan Paul and Dillon Dannis. We'll get back to that.
But guess what what's so interesting to me is that Dillon Dannis is known, unfortunately, for whatever reason may be, is known and a little bit shamed for pulling out a fight. So one of the things they're saying is like, is he gonna show? Is he gonna show up to the fight? He's saying he is. He's saying he's injury free. He's ready to go. I just watched Ariel Helwani's
podcast,
MMA Hour podcast. That I think the episode just came out
got a wedgie from Dillon,
like yesterday or something. Yeah, he just got Dillon Dannis gave Ariel Helwani a wedgie. That's hilarious. But he's saying one of the things that's kept him up at night is not being able to fight like he's wanted to, due to things he can't control, like the injuries. So I truly believe that he's going to show up to this, but what's interesting is who they have as a backup for
Mike Perry,
the fight if Dillon
Platinum
doesn't
Mike
show.
Perry.
Platinum Mike Perry. Guys, for those of you that don't know who Mike Perry is, Mike Perry is a UFC veteran. Had a pretty good record in the UFC.
Yeah, I was going to say, he came into the UFC, gained a lot of momentum, had a great career in the UFC, and he kind of disappeared for a little bit. not disappeared, but he wasn't popular. He kind of his stock went down a little bit, and then boom, bare knuckle fighting comes, and this man just took over. He took over, man. His presence is back.
He's in BKFC, and he's doing his thing, man. He just knocked out Luke Rockhold's teeth, bro. Yeah. And Luke Rockhold is a UFC champion.
You talk about a bad motherfucker. I love Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje. I know it's the UFC's thing. He's not in the UFC thing. Mike Perry is the baddest motherfucker in the world. That man, dude, he's up there with Nate Diaz. Jorge Masvidal. He's on that reign of this dude would kill you if you see him in the streets and you give him a problem.
He's about it.
He's the real deal.
I just saw him. He was just in Russia somewhere, and some heavyweight champ was trying to come. I mean, some heavyweight MMA fighter was trying to come at him. This dude was he looked like he was damn near 300 pounds, man. Was coming at Mike Perry, and was taunting him and all that. And then Mike Perry called him an MFer. And over there, they think you're actually talking about disrespecting their mother. Yeah. And everybody was like, no, you can't disrespect his mother. And he's like, what? He's like, I wasn't disrespecting his mom. He's like, but if we're gonna fight, we're gonna fight, dude. He was ready to fight in Russia, bro.
He's always ready, man. That's his. He's the real fucking deal, bro. He's the real deal. How much does he fight at? What weight does he fight at? Is it 185?
I know in the UFC he was fighting at 170.
170.
But I think he has moved up.
Dude, you know who I would love to see, and I would love to see Mike Perry versus Sean Strickland. That'd would be awesome. A fucking dope fight.
But one of the reasons that Mike Perry is doing so well in BKFC is because he's a dog. That sport requires you to be a dog, a savage, and to have hands. And he is willing to
die.
In order to give you a punch, he's willing to eat a punch. He don't give a damn. He's not trying to slip, dodge, and he does at times, but he will eat a punch to give you one back. And that is why he is a bad MFer, and that's why he's killing it in BKFC.
And here's the thing is fighting's fighting for sure. But I guarantee everyone that fights in bare knuckle boxing would go to UFC. Not everyone in UFC or just Bellator or PFL will go to bare knuckle boxing.
Not everybody from boxing would even go to BKFC. Yeah. I mean,
if you're in the BKFC, you're a different type of fighter.
You probably had quite a bit of street fights.
You probably got you got some screws loose up in the head a little bit, but
and a lot of people say it's something that a lot of fighters do as a kind of like a Twilight Tour type of thing, for their career. Because I mean, think about it, man. You're breaking your hands in this sport.
I got a question. Bobby Green finishes his contract at UFC. Do you think he's a candidate?
Absolutely. Bobby Green would be wonderful. And if it was Bobby Green versus Grant Dawson in BKFC, I'm going
Bobby Green.
Bobby Green
100%. 100%.
You know who I want to see in BKFC?
Who?
Nate Diaz.
Oh shit. Dude.
That would be tight. He
would do it too. I believe he would fucking do it.
You know who's got something that's badass right now?
Who?
And it's all related to this. Dude, Jorge Masvidal has bare knuckle MMA, dude.
For
I
real?
just seen Roy Nelson.
Big
country Roy Nelson, my boy right here. I just got him. But yeah, dude, Roy Nelson, I was watching one of his videos. He's a UFC veteran. Dude, he knocked the shit out of somebody, dude, in Jorge Masvidal's new fighting league. And that shit that's badass, dude. I mean,
dude,
here, think about this.
Bare knuckle MMA?
Think about this. I mean, it goes back to when Jorge Masvidal was fighting in the backyard. That's what he was doing. He wasn't doing bare knuckle boxing. He was doing bare knuckle MMA. And let me ask you this. So,
what's up?
In MMA,
yeah.
What protection do you have in MMA? What
you have your
what protection as far as gear?
Your gloves,
gear,
and your cup and your mouth guard.
Okay.
Right. I mean,
Let me ask you this. So, why is it that you can take my bare knee and knee you in your face? I can take my elbow, my bare elbow, which, dude, elbows is what can cause a cut like that.
Yeah.
Why is it that we can use these and not have any pads on these, but our hands are the only things that are protected?
I think it's not for the. I think it's not for your opponent. I think it's for yourself. Because I mean, look how many times. How many times I've actually seen multiple times in real life, just people fighting in real life, like out in the street, break their hands from punching someone. You know, so. You know, I think the glove is really for you so you don't break your hand. And it still happens. It still happens, you know. Yeah. But I think that's the reason why you have gloves.
Well, I mean,
maybe I'm wrong, but I mean.
No, that has some validity to it. But in BKFC, Mike Perry was even talking about it. He was even saying he had to learn how to punch properly.
Yeah.
To where he
doesn't break his hand. Yeah.
Because you know, you can be a little looser in MMA, at least in the UFC and stuff with your punches to an extent, because you got a little bit of that little bit of pad
it helps
enough. You can still break your hand.
You have little room for error in BKFC to not break your hand.
In BKFC, if you hit that dude on top of his head the wrong way, your hand's gonna be broke, and you know that's what Mike Perry kind of touched on, but. Yeah, that's interesting. But dude, you know what I think all this entertaining like type fights, like all these crossovers, dude, there's so many different fighting sports now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got combat jiu-jitsu, dude.
It's growing, bro. The fight world is growing. The popularity of the sport is growing because
I have a thought. I just thought about this the other day. And I was like, dude, our world and society is all about what draws attention, right?
Right.
So, back in the day, dude, when the UFC first started, there was no weight classes.
Yeah.
It's starting to feel like, dude, it's starting to feel like we're going back to that. And, like, there's going to be an MMA organization that's just like no holds bars, no weight class, nothing.
I saw a video. It's like I don't even know where it is. There's like 3 girls fighting one big ass like heavyweight dude, and he was just like clocking them around, like tossing them around, and it's like we've seen little people fighting, like midget boxing. They have that shit now.
Dwarf
boxing. We have backyard boxing, bro. If you have time, go on YouTube, look up it's backyard boxing. That's what it's called, right? And some of these guys that fight are legit. They're legit people. It's called backyard beefs, huh? Dude. Some people though are just off the street, dude. And they're just.
Dude, I seen the fun, and I'm allowed to laugh at this because they go up there and they perform and it's entertainment. So I have a right to laugh.
Absolutely.
But dude, I was hanging out one day, dude. It was me and one of my buddies, and we was watching. We was just watching random things on YouTube, and dude, I seen these dwarfs boxing, dude, and the dude's name was Toy Mayweather versus Man Pacquiao, dude. That shit was hilarious.
And it's entertaining, though.
That shit was hilarious.
It's entertaining. Like you shouldn't, yeah, I get what you're saying. The sport is expanding. There's all these different crossovers and great things. You know why I think that is, though? And I think the UFC has a responsibility for that, as well as social media. The last 10 years, social media has grown, as well as the UFC, have both grown tremendously. You have all these characters in the UFC that, starting with Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor, really, those were the first two, in my opinion. Yeah, we had Brock Lesnar and all these great UFC, but, what really made the sport popular was Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor comes in, and he's the superstar. And following that, you have your Sean O'Malley's, your Israel Adesanyas, all these dope-ass fighters that also have cool personalities and social media presence. So now, you have people at home watching that shit on their phone, and they're like, shit, I want to get into this. So they, I guarantee if you were to go to your jiu-jitsu coach at 10th Planet and say, over the years, how much has the gym grown? How many people have come in to the gym, monthly compared to, from 2023 compared to 2015? And I guarantee it's almost at least doubled. Like, the sport is just growing tremendously because of how popular UFC has made it, and also social media. I mean, that's my opinion.
I'll get back to you on that. But my question to you is, do you think that we will go back to the olden days? Let me word this properly. Do you think that we will ever have the UFC go back to where it's like no weight classes, even if it's just for a special night, special event? Do you think that we'll ever have the UFC go back to no weight class? I mean, hell, no gender. I mean,
I don't know, man. I mean,
it's
hard to say, but this is what I'll say. I think UFC, no. I think UFC will, because what they have going now is great. They're gonna have their, Volkanovski goes back up to lightweight and fights again to try to get the double title. What I do think will happen, and you've seen UFC already do it. They bought slap fighting. I guarantee you will have an organization that starts getting popular for doing all these weird crossover fights. I could see the UFC buying out that organization and running it. They did that shit with slap fighting.
Dude,
so
what are you? Yeah, okay,
right?
That's fair. Dude, I think that we are going down this path of, we just want to see the craziest shit.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. No, I'm not saying there is, but
I mean,
I wouldn't doubt it, dude. Think about it. In my opinion, we've kind of seen with the UFC, I used to think the UFC was like the Olympics. You had
the best fighter's gonna win.
The best
no
fighters,
matter the weight.
Fairness in that.
Yeah.
But I started realizing, as I continued to watch the sport grow and everything like that, and the organization grow, how it really operates. It's show business. It's show business, and there's nothing wrong with that either.
You gotta make money.
It's show business, and it's prize fighting, and
well, let me ask you this. It kind of ties into changes that could be made, right? And you mentioned it earlier, not in the podcast, but we were just talking about it earlier. Joe Rogan talking about TRT. He said they should
He's saying
not test. And
well,
you have Cheeto Vera recently said, you could pay a doctor $20,000 and you're clean. You could do that as a fighter. So you potentially already have. I mean, you already know there's people getting away with that shit. So it's could you see TRT being allowed?
I think that I'm not gonna rule anything out if it has scientific research. I mean, dude,
I would rather see it. I'd rather let them do it. Get juiced up.
I don't know enough about TRT. I don't know enough about all these steroids. But what I'm saying is, if it has scientific research and they can study it to he was saying about these older fighters, because after an age, I think after 30 or 30, I think after 35, your testosterone as a male goes down substantially. There's other ways to keep your test high, natural ways and stuff like that, but it does go down a bit. But if there's scientific research and they can put some type of regulation for it, and I don't see why not. Because you know why? Because if we look at history, one of the biggest cases with USADA, I don't know if it was USADA or an organization that handles a lot of the drug testing. I don't know if it was USADA. I don't want to misrepresent them, but anyway, one of the biggest things that happened in UFC history was when Nick Diaz got suspended for
marijuana.
It was like 5 or 6 years or something, dude, or maybe
that shit's
7
so
years.
Heartbreaking,
dude. That was in the prime of Nick Diaz's career,
ruined his career,
and now people are smoking weed like it's nothing, man. Like they actually get sponsorships from marijuana companies. That's why I'm saying I don't think that it would be out of the question for him to allow like some of these certain anabolic steroids to be permitted in the UFC. If there's scientific research that's proven, like, dude, he smoked a joint and went and fought, bro. He's not gonna. Nick Diaz is not gonna get
that's not a deciding
athletic performance,
dude.
Off of that.
You see Sean O'Malley smoking a blunt while he's working. You see Nate Diaz fucking blowing smoke into the was it USADA that came to his house and he's blowing smoke, like he's smoking a joint, blowing fucking smoke into his face. Yeah. Like, dude, there is no reason Nick Diaz, what was it, 6 years?
Somebody owes Nick Diaz.
It was 6 years, right?
Fat check, dude.
For sure.
They took away this man's career. This dude is a legend, man.
And if you know Nick and Nate, like that is their life. Fighting is their life. That's the only thing they really love, you know. That's what saved them. They say that shit saved them.
They love that fine pine. So, and they love that bare knuckle.
Yeah.
They like street fighting. They like.
And yeah, it's really sad. He just fought Nick Diaz. He just last fought Robbie Lawler, and I just remember after that fight, Robbie goes up to him and is like, "Are you okay? Like, are you okay, man? Like, is your mental state?" And I was like, man, that was a great thing to see, because you know that shit, it just took a toll on his mental health. Yeah. So
speaking on Nick, we weren't really getting into talking about Nick Diaz. We can go all day about the Diaz brothers.
Oh yeah.
I think Nick Diaz is gonna have a fight next year. He's gotten in great shape.
I hope so, man.
I think he lost that fight before he went in. I think he had some mental health issues that he was battling, and it was apparent. That was not the Nick Diaz that we know. I think he was struggling with mental health, and like that's a big thing these days. I mean,
he 6 years, right? It was 6 years suspension, so he'd been out the game.
I mean, he had some good pops on Robbie Lawler, considering what. Dude, did you see what Robbie Lawler just did in his retirement fight? My God!
And I don't think Nick, because he called the fight off pretty much. I think his cardio was just shot. I just think he wasn't in conditioned enough for that fight. His head and his conditioning wasn't there, and he was just like. And there's nothing wrong with that. My man deserves, like you said, a fat check, and he deserves another fight. He says he's ready. I know he just said recently he was like, I'm in the best shape and I'm ready to go. So, yeah.
Speaking of some mental health and stuff like that, touch on what you brought to my attention about Israel Adesanya.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
So, yeah, Izzy, man, I did not know this. You guys, we talked about it last week. He fought Sean Strickland recently and lost the title to Sean Strickland in a fight that he just looked like he wasn't there. He did not look like the style bender that we're used to. I found out recently, I think everyone found out recently, that he got a DUI. And it's not that he got the DUI. It's that I didn't know this. He got it before the fight. About 2 weeks, I think, or 3 weeks before the fight with Sean Strickland. So, and then after the fight, he got, he went to court and pleaded guilty for it. So, knowing that now, it's like, this man must have had a lot on his mind. His mental state was not there. And it's clear in the fight, he's not there. And I hope I know it's something he can come back from. I just hope that, this isn't the downfall of Israel Adesanya. Dana White commented on it recently and said, it's not how you handle things, it's how you come back from things,
How you bounce back.
And he said, hopefully it's just a one and done problem with Izzy. But yeah, man, I think that definitely played a toll in that fight, against Sean Strickland.
You think that was the cause of his? You think that was the cause of his? His performance that night, or do you? Because we got to be careful here. We don't want to discredit Sean Strickland. I don't want to discredit Sean. But we have our opinions. So what do you think? Do you think that had an effect on Israel Adesanya? I know Israel is a very spiritual person. I think he can channel his emotions and energy and everything like that. But what do you think about his performance that night? Do you think that he had something else on his mind and that's why he looked out of place in that fight? Or
look, Sean Strickland, I don't want to discredit him at all. He dominated every single round of that fight. He did. I didn't think he'd even be able to knock down Izzy, and he put him down on the first round. I think, yes, Izzy went into that fight. He probably, had a bad last couple of weeks because, you get a DUI. You're not just. It's not just you get a DUI and that's it, and you get scheduled to court. Like, there's a lot that comes with it. You have sponsorships, you have a lot of, your management and everyone's involved in that whole process. And then, the news is going to break to the world, you're thinking about that. For a guy like Israel Adesanya that has so many fans, so many people that love him, to get something like that, yes, that definitely plays a toll on your mental health. Also, sometimes you just don't. You wake up on fight day and you're just not there. And I think it was just, it was a combination of had a bad last couple of weeks of camp with the DUI. Didn't look like himself when he was walking in even. As soon as he walked out, we said, something's off with Izzy. And then that first round, getting fucking put down. Because maybe 1 or 2 rounds in, you get comfortable and you're like, okay, I'm fighting now. Nothing else matters but this fight. But the fact that Sean put his ass down in the first round, that could have arguably been the end of the fight. I think his everything just kind of got in his head, and Sean just made a fool of him.
That's fair. That's fair. I have another point.
Okay.
That we haven't talked about that.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so
I think I know what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
We know he got the DUI. I think it was 18 days prior to the fight. Okay.
Yeah.
How long is a typical fight camp for a fighter going in the UFC?
I think I don't want to say a typical fighter. I feel like maybe 12 weeks for a typical fighter. I think Izzy, though, it was only like an 8-week camp because he just fought.
Okay, an 8-week camp. Fine, 8-week camp. Here is what I just thought about. If he's in an 8-week camp, that's when it's go time. It's time to prepare.
Why is he drinking anyways?
Why is he getting intoxicated to the point?
Yeah, so
where he's driving and he's
drinking and driving
and whatnot. You could say, he's
there's no
went
reason.
Out with the boys, and I don't know how much he drinks. I don't know all this stuff, and it's none of my business. But
maybe he underestimated Sean.
Was he underestimating Sean like John Jones did Daniel Cormier after he said he beat him after a night of cocaine?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's that you can definitely throw that in the cards too.
Was he underestimating him, or was there something prior to that that he was drinking out of, maybe
anger,
depression, some other emotion, trying to cope with that?
Or maybe he's just the fame getting to him and he couldn't deny going to a party. Maybe someone high-level celebrity invited him to a party and he fucking went.
That's something else to think about. Because it could.
There's a lot of factors.
Another thing that happened that is another variable here. Remember where Sean was talking about Izzy and his dog? Well, Izzy's dog died. I don't know how recent ago, because
that'll do a toll on a man for sure.
I mean,
man's best friend.
Dogs are our family members.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day. So
Absolutely.
I know for a fact that would have an impact on me and you if we lost our fur babies. You know what I mean? But dude, that's what I'm saying. I do not want to discredit Sean Strickland, but that was not Israel Adesanya in there that night.
It wasn't,
and
no.
I think that
Let's see a rematch.
whatever the case was that caused him to not perform that night, I think he comes back just like we've seen him come back every single time, just like we've seen him come back and really put a nail in the coffin on the Alex Pereira situation.
Yeah.
He knocked that man down, bro. But it wasn't like when
that was the greatest moment in UFC history I've ever seen in my life. Just got to say that. But
it's up there. It's up there
Yeah.
because I would say when Nate Diaz put a whooping on Connor,
top 5,
got
those
that
are both
rear
top
naked
5.
choke.
Easy.
It's
And
top 5 for sure.
I was just gonna say, I don't like you said, don't discredit Sean Strickland. He was also training with Alex Pereira that whole entire camp,
Which has got to fuck with your mind, too.
So yeah, so it's just there's a lot of factors, man. Izzy, like you just said, he's come back before. Sean Strickland is still a phenomenal fighter, great fighter. And I would like to see the rematch. And I think it'll go Izzy's way.
I think it goes Izzy's way again. That's my prediction. I think Izzy gets a rematch. There's a lot of talks of if they want to keep Izzy there. Like we just said, it's not necessarily the UFC doesn't necessarily operate off what's fair. So some people want to see new blood in that middleweight division.
I do think we see Sean fight someone else first because I think
who do you predict Sean fights? If it's not Israel Adesanya,
whoever wins Paulo Costa versus Khamzat, right? They're fighting at middleweight, right? That's a couple weekends from now, and he just pleaded guilty to a DUI, so I think he's gonna take some time to deal with all that, get his head right, get back in the gym, which is gonna be, Sean likes to fight. He's like, give me a fight. I don't think Izzy will be ready in time, so I think whoever wins Paulo Costa versus Khamzat, Paulo Costa's already fought for a title. Khamzat deserves a title. If he beats Paulo Costa, he deserves a title shot. Give whoever wins that fight a title shot. And I love Sean Strickland, man, but that's gonna be an uphill battle for him. But maybe he fucking does the same thing he did to Izzy. You never know. Who do you think? If not Khamzat or Paulo Costa, who do you think? Because Alex Pereira said he's not going to fight Sean. Because, they train together now pretty much. So, and he's staying up there. He's about to fight Yuri. That's going to be a great fight.
Well, Alex Pereira's at light heavyweight now.
I know. But he said recently, they asked him if he would consider going back down. He said if Izzy would have won against Sean, yes. But because Sean won, no. So, I don't know who else besides... I can't think who else is in that middleweight that's worthy of a title shot besides whoever wins Khamzat versus Paulo Costa. It's kind of a...
Man, here. I think it'll be whoever wins against Khamzat versus Paulo Costa. I think that's who's gonna fight for that belt. I think Khamzat, man.
Mauls, Sean.
Well,
you said that.
But do you think Khamzat beats Paulo Costa, bro?
Dude,
this is at
Paulo Costa is big.
This is that 185.
That's a big motherfucker,
and that's a
bro.
Big 185er. That's a big dude, bro. He's not picking Paulo Costa. Joe Rogan even said it. Khamzat's not picking up Paulo Costa like he did.
Khamzat's a huge underdog in that, and for good reason. But here's the thing. Oh shit! I forgot about Duplessis and Robert Whittaker. But I don't think Robert Whittaker gets the shot because Duplessis is ahead of him. but
I think Duplessis is in that mix.
Damn, I wanted to see Izzy versus him, bro. But
I wanted to see Israel versus Duplessis also, man. That whole who's more African thing.
I think if not Duplessis, definitely Khamzat or Paulo Costa. I don't know who wins that fight. I want to say Khamzat, but that's going to be a
Jared Cannonier's up there too.
Jared is up there. I don't know, man. Kelvin Gastelum, he's fighting soon, right? There's
Kevin
a lot of
Gastelum's fighting Sean Brady.
I know. I don't think they're near a title shot
that's
yet.
170 though.
Yeah, but Kelvin Gastelum is the number 10 middleweight. There's a lot of good middleweights that you could argue could get the title shot against Sean. I think Duplessis, if not injured, might. But looking at the timeline, I mean, dude, Khamzat versus Paulo Costa, why not? Like, whoever wins that, you know?
That's it. And we're just...
I feel like if you throw Duplessis in there, you're just kind of throwing Duplessis a bone to be the champion.
Not necessarily, because that's who Izzy was going to fight. He was going to fight Duplessis. And
you know what? Maybe they're script writing. Maybe they're making this to where, you know, Duplessis beats Sean and Izzy comes back to fight Duplessis and takes his title back. Yeah. Some shit. Yeah. I don't know. Just looking forward to those fights, man. And looking forward to seeing Paulo Costa comes out. Looking forward to seeing whoever Sean does end up fighting. I hope Izzy's fixes his... I hope he's good in his personal life and he fixes his mental health and gets through, you know, kind of the bashing that the media kind of put on him about the DUI. I think he does get it right and comes back better than ever. So
would you like to see a rematch though?
Against Sean
versus Izzy.
Would
you like to see a rematch on that?
If Sean does not lose that title, yes, 100%. But
what I'm saying is, what if legalities are okay, like he's all right? Do you want to see Izzy get the rematch, immediate rematch against Sean Strickland? Should he?
Yes, he should. Because he was off that night, and it wasn't like he got dominated, don't get me wrong. Like, it was clear Sean Strickland won every round, but it's not like he got put away in the first. He almost did, but it's not like it was a huge win. Like, it was a huge win. I don't want to downgrade it, but like, it went to decision. Sean Strickland won every round. Yada yada yada. I mean, Izzy is the middleweight GOAT at this point. You give him, he gets his rematch if he wants it.
In my opinion, it was a huge win. Dude, the first round.
It was a huge
win. Everyone has been saying that they wouldn't have argued if they would have stopped that in the first round.
Yeah.
He was putting a whooping on Izzy.
I wouldn't have argued.
I was waiting for him to stop the ref to stop the fight. I was like, oh God, it's already over.
You look at fights that have happened recently that have been ended for less.
I mean, even
the one against Pereira.
That's what I'm saying.
Less. The one Sean Brady against the Bilal was less than that. You know, they gave Izzy's time there.
Yeah, they let him fight. Go out on his shield it went to decision, but yeah, the one against Pereira, dude, it wasn't even as bad as that one.
No,
I would need to watch. I want to rewatch that again, but
yeah, definitely gotta look back at that.
There's some interesting stuff going on right now, man, in
so
all the divisions. A lot of the divisions are rotating. And maybe that's the thing they want to do, dude. You see the new flyweight division. You see the bantamweight division with Sean O'Malley. You know, Aljamain Sterling just won Polaris 25. grappling.
Colby's fighting Leon. That's gonna be. Colby could be the champion. What are you talking? You talking about the champions rotating out? Like,
yeah, that's
people
what I'm
getting
saying.
knocked off the top.
What if the UFC is saying, hey, like, let's get some new blood, let's get some new stuff? Because we have seen Izzy up there for a while. He's entertaining though. He's entertaining. Though.
I mean, he's kind of,
and he's one of the greatest strikers of UFC of all time.
It reminds me kind of John Jones. John Jones never lost, but John Jones he just came back and beat the bricks off of Cyril Gane. But before that, his like last 5 fights, title fights, even though he won them, they were kind of like, they weren't like as dominant wins. And that's kind of like the same thing I feel almost we're seeing with Izzy. Is like, Joe Rogan just talked about it, progression, bro, or regression in fighting, man. The longer you fight, you're bound to, Father Time's undefeated.
I mean, Usman getting beat by Leon Edwards. That wasn't too long ago.
That wasn't at all, no.
And now we're seeing, Colby coming up and fighting him. So
Alexa Grasso beating champion
beating Shevchenko. She beat
twice. She's a dual champion right now. Right?
Who?
No, maybe I'm tripping. Grasso. I don't know, man.
No, she's not.
I think, there's definitely a lot of rotation going on. I hope Volkanovski's not next. I hope he kind of remains, because they got him probably fighting Ilya. But
who knows?
Shit, Brandon Moreno losing to Pantoja, Yeah, a lot of rotation. We're just going to see, man. We're going to see what happens. It's a very entertaining time in UFC history.
Absolutely.
A lot of changes.
Absolutely,
moving along.
Man.
So, yeah, we talked about, we kind of got off there, but we were talking about Logan Paul, Dillon Dannis fighting. And then we got into Mike Perry. Mike Perry's the backup. Some UFC kind of mixed with boxing news. Darren Till, Mike Perry, boxing each other.
2024. That's what they're talking about. 2024 pro boxing match, not bare knuckle. Darren Till's already mentioned he doesn't have any interest in bare knuckle. I don't blame him.
Like I said, not everyone. Bare knuckle's not for everyone, man.
And it's not just that. I think that a lot of people don't want to get their hands all injured and stuff like that.
Teeth, hands, fucking face, bro. Your knuckles are just as bad as your elbows, man. They cut you up.
Yeah. So, all right. Mike Perry versus Darren Till in a boxing match. What's your prediction on that? That's interesting. I love both those guys, man. Darren Till's hilarious.
Dude.
He's trained a lot with
the gorilla.
He's trained a lot with Hamzat.
One of my favorites for sure. He's one of my favorite UFC fighters. He's kind of, I'm not gonna say been disappointing, but definitely I want Darren Till to win so many times. I thought he was gonna win. When
he fought Duplessis, I thought he was going to beat Duplessis. He looked great. I thought
Robert Whittaker was gonna beat Duplessis. Duplessis, I don't like the guy because he's just I don't think his
striking is that good, man.
But
compared to those,
he's
guys.
a good fighter though. No, yeah. Anyways, Darren Till versus Mike Perry, man. Dude, Mike Perry, dude. I'm taking Mike Perry. He's just, we talked about, man. He's different, bro. It's not that I don't think Darren Till has that dog in him, but he ain't got that pit bull in him like Mike Perry. He might be, German Shepherd, but he ain't no pit bull ready to fucking pounce.
I gotta go Mike Perry also, man. If it was a kickboxing match, I'm going Darren Till.
Dude, I think Mike Perry just literally gets all up in his fucking face and just lays the woodwork down on him.
Yeah. I think he's just got that grit. He's got that grit.
He smothers his opponents. He doesn't let you keep the distance. He gets in your fucking face and he knocks Luke Rockhold's teeth out.
Dude, that was insane to see, man. He knocked he chipped, like, half of his front teeth was gone. Like,
yeah.
And he was like, yo, like, I'm done.
He made Luke Rockhold quit.
A former UFC champion.
Luke Rockhold, one of the legends of the UFC. He's a UFC legend.
However, Luke Rockhold is known for his kicks, known for his...
different style, for sure.
Yeah, much different. That's what I'm saying. It all comes down to, now there's so many different sports, you can really find your niche. Yeah. Like Mike Perry did with BKFC.
And you know what? I think, too, like, the reason you see a lot of people who are fighting in these different type of promotions that don't really match their style does just come down to money. These things make money. People watch this shit, you know? Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz should never happen in a million fucking years. Like, let's be honest. Like, that was, even though Nate Diaz almost gave Jake a run for his money. But anyways, it makes money, you know? Luke Rockhold, when was the last time anyone had talked about Luke Rockhold in a combat sports sense, in a excited for him to fight sense?
The last fight he had was against Paulo Costa.
Yeah, but that was
he looked
a few years ago,
bro. That man looked like he had just ran a marathon in there. That dude was tired. He had some great opportunities. He had some great spurts.
When was that?
I think that was last year, at the beginning of the year.
My point is Luke Rockhold put himself. He put his name back in the spotlight, one, and two, he got paid.
Oh, yeah. They're paying these guys.
They're paying these guys,
I mean,
man.
you just seen Conor McGregor even went to a BKFC event. He even got up in Mike Perry's face. He had the belt on him and stuff.
If Conor fought BKFC...
Who wins?
Holy...
In a BKFC fight.
If I was Conor, I wouldn't fight Mike Perry, bro.
Versus Conor McGregor. Who wins in a BKFC fight? Mike Perry or Conor McGregor?
I'm a huge Conor fan. Love Conor McGregor. But Mike Perry one is bigger. He's bigger than Conor. And I don't want to risk...
Is he bigger? Is he bigger now? I mean, you see Conor McGregor looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Is he bigger?
Yes. Mike Perry's big. That's not Conor. That's not Conor. That's not fighting Conor. You know? Fighting Conor is heaviest 170, you know?
I don't know. He's talked about...
Dude, if he...
185.
If he goes up to 185 and fights... Izzy, Duplessis, Robert Whittaker, fucking Paulo Costa, Khamzat Chimaev, bro. Come on.
Answer the question. Who do you think, Mike Perry or Conor McGregor would win in a BKFC fight, dude?
Dude, I think Mike Perry, bro. And it all comes down to, yeah, sure, Conor has all the life confidence in the world because he makes so much goddamn money, but ring confidence is different. And Mike Perry is riding a wave of just confidence in fighting right now. He's on top of the world right now. Okay. He's one of those guys right now that is being talked about. He's everywhere. He's trending. You know, his followers just shoot up because he's that guy. He's that guy right now. So if Conor comes back and he goes to BKFC and he fights Mike Perry, I just don't think it ends well for Conor. And you know what? The fan in me wants to see it, but
I'd love to see that. I would love it.
I don't want to see. The other part of me doesn't want to see Conor get knocked out by Mike Perry in fucking BKFC, bro. Like, because you at this point when you're Conor, legend, he'll always be a legend of UFC. But the more you damage your reputation in fighting, the more you kind of kill your fight. What word am I looking for? Like, the more you kind of kill your momentum, and like, the more fans you lose, the more it's just like, damn. I remember how Conor used to be, man, and it's sad to see him like this, you know. And you look at his last UFC fights. I mean, he broke his fucking leg against Dustin. Okay. that's a loss that I can get behind. I'd be like, all right, he broke his leg. An injury happened. Yes, it's technically a TKO, but at least he didn't get knocked out, right? He did get knocked out by Dustin the second time. Okay. Dustin Poirier is no joke. That's going to happen, right? Choked out by Khabib. That's arguably the greatest grappler in UFC history. It happens. What are his other losses? That's it, right? Beat Cowboy. His past UFC losses. That's it right now, right?
That I can think of.
So it's like, okay, you get choked out by Khabib. That's a fair L. You know, Khabib's Khabib. You get knocked out by Dustin Poirier. That's a fair L. You break your leg. That's an injury that happens. I do still think, you know, people don't give Conor enough credit. You know, I do still think he can be an elite fighter in UFC. But when you step into the boxing world, the bare knuckle boxing world, that's a different type of entertainment, and that's a different type of. And Mike Perry is just a different type of athlete, you know, or different type of fighter. And I don't think Conor can step into that world and beat Mike Perry. Yeah. You know, translated to UFC, Mike Perry went to the UFC again and fought Conor. Okay, maybe I can see Conor, you know, beating Mike Perry. But
in the UFC, I think Conor beats Mike Perry.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, but not in the bare knuckle boxing world. So I would take Mike Perry. That's my answer. I know I kind of took a long time to answer that, but I would take Mike Perry in that situation.
And he also has the experience factor in BKFC. In bare knuckle boxing.
Who you taking Mike Perry too?
Yes.
Yeah. And Conor, I mean, I don't think it happens, even though he got in there. I don't think it happens because Conor just talked about he's still going to fight Chandler. He talked about he owes Nate a fight. He owes Nate a trilogy. So that we know those two things are likely going to happen. And then he talked about, didn't he talk about fighting Gaethje too? I don't know if that happens, but
yes,
I could see that happening before he goes to BKFC. And
I could see him fighting Gaethje. I could see him fighting Gaethje.
Yeah, but if the money is there in BKFC, I think Conor would take it if, you know, they give him. He's got to be making, you know, Floyd money, but maybe not even Floyd money. But he's got to make a huge check.
They pay well, apparently. That's what everybody said. So, especially the big guys, big fights.
Yeah, man.
So much stuff, man. So much stuff going on, man. What about in the world, man? What's going on in the world right now? We seeing anything cool going on? Anything cool in the news? Anything bad in the news?
Oh, man.
Something cool, man. Something interesting I'm seeing, man, is this new method of tattoo sedation, man. Yeah. They're sedating people. I just saw Dak Prescott got like a full, I don't know if it was
all the celebrities, man.
Full leg sleeve or something getting sedated. And then
yeah.
I know Arcangel, which is a huge reggaeton artist, he got his whole stomach and chest done while being sedated for like 7 or 8 hours.
Russell, dude, Lakers basketball players.
They'll have like 4 or 5 artists working on them, dude.
Same thing at once. I think just the anesthesia alone costs like $100K to do. But yeah, it's definitely a different approach. I mean, to be honest, I'm not surprised. I'm kind of surprised that it's kind of becoming a thing now. Like I'm surprised that it wasn't kind of a thing before. Maybe it was. It just wasn't as looked at. But yeah, man, it's an interesting way to do tattoos.
Maybe legality reasons why it took so long. Like maybe they're getting some more science behind it, or legal reasons, or whatnot.
Do you think it is because being a guy like you, right, who is tatted up fucking head to toe, who spent hours sitting there going through the pain, do you think that it kind of discredits the respect of having, like, some people view tattoos differently. Some people look at tattoos and are like, wow, you got a lot of tattoos, man. You sat through a lot of pain, man. That's a journey. That's a process. Do you think now, like you think that's kind of like cheesy in a way or corny for people to get tattoos in that process of, because you're just skipping it. It's instant gratification. It's the whole society today wanting instant gratification. You're applying that to tattooing now. You know, you can go in. Some guy that went to his same artist he's been going to for years. It took him 3, 4, 5, maybe even 10 years. I've heard of 10 years it takes to get a back piece for some people because some pain tolerance is different. You can go in now and just one day, not even a day, 6 hours, whole back piece done. Does that discredit the process and the journey and kind of make you look at those people now and be like, man, that's kind of weak, kind of cheesy.
You know, we're all entitled to our opinions. We're all entitled to our opinions. So my opinion is, dude, when I see that shit, dude, it makes me cringe a little bit. At the same time, like you said, everyone looks at tattooing differently. The way I view tattooing, the reasons I have the tattoos I have and what I see in the culture of tattooing, because I'm an enthusiast of, I'm a tattoo collector. I've done my research. I've had long conversations with traditional tattoo artists. My original tattoo artist is in Misawa, Japan. Shooting Gallery Tattoo. Shout out Hiroshi. But my opinion on that is, dude, I would not ever do that. Reason being is because tattoos are earned. Yeah. And how do you earn that? You earn that through time, money, and pain. Yeah. We are living in a microwavable generation, and like you said, now it's just we're just applying it to different things. I mean, you see it everywhere you look. Everyone wants something for nothing. Yeah. That's the same concept.
You want abs, but don't want to go to the gym.
You would rather implant abs in your stomach than go to the gym a couple times a week, or eat one less cheeseburger or whatnot. Yeah. Anyways, my thought process on it is it's
kind of fake.
To me it's cheesy. Yeah. To me it's cheesy. Everyone can do what they want to do. Personally, to me, these mean something to me because I didn't get sedated. I didn't get numbed out for all of it. Dude, I sat there and got drilled on for 6+ hours at a time. And it took me years. Yeah. It took me saving my money. It took me finding the right art. It took me, finding the right artist. It took me, a lot of blood, sweat. Because when you get off that table, man, your whole body will be imprinted on that sheet that they put down on that tattoo table.
Yeah, and you know what too is you kind of miss out on building. And I know some people
builds character.
Well, but I know some people don't care about this. But you build a relationship and connection with your artist.
And you're asleep, bro.
Conversating with your artist. Some of the coolest people I've met are people that have tattooed me, and these most tattoo artists, they aren't on, the basic wavelength of thinking. They have opinions on things that I've never even considered. So you lose that kind of personal touch. I got this tattoo, and I recall a good conversation I had with my artist when he was doing this on me, or you lose that relationship, with persons that I don't know. Some people don't care about that, but I think it's important.
Social connection and brotherhood and whatnot is of utmost importance to me. Yeah. That matters so much to me, and that's why I could never do that. That you brought another point I didn't even think about. You're sedated. You're knocked out. Yeah. You're not going through the pain. You're not getting any experience other than waking up with art. It's cheating to me. It's cheating.
You kind of reach it's interesting too, because you kind of you make your mind more powerful because you find ways to ignore the pain. You know, conversating with your artist, that's a way I get through it. You know, trying to think about just anything else, you know, like you kind of discover that about yourself. Like, okay, when shit hurts, like you can kind of have that mental fortitude to push you through that pain. You really can.
Dude, one of the biggest things that getting tattooed ever taught me was how to properly breathe.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Dude, I remember one of my artists was drilling into my elbow one time, and I had the sweats, bro. And I started feeling cold, and my hands were clammy, and I was like, I might pass out. I wasn't breathing, bro. I was clenching my teeth because it hurt so fucking bad, and I wasn't breathing. That's a great point, because yeah, breathing fucking will help you get through shit. Just taking in some deep breaths and pushing through. Absolutely. You want to elaborate on that?
I mean, dude, I've needed breathing for many different things. Like, I just got certified as a yoga instructor, and when they were talking about, you know, some of these breath work techniques, this and that, I was like, dude, I've been doing this when I was getting tattooed. Getting tattooed, I had to endure so much pain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, we can listen to all these people that lie and say, "Oh, tattoos don't hurt."
They use that numbing cream.
Dude, tattoos do hurt, dude. Tattoos do hurt. And you know, I will say there are spots that don't hurt as much. But dude, when I'm talking about, all right, the first hour, all right, you're all right. I'm talking about when you're 6 hours in, dude.
And that artist is wiping that shit every fucking 3 seconds, just pulling your skin, bro. Scraping it.
That shit hurts, bro. And I'm not saying to be crying or screaming or
that's
whining.
An open wound, bro.
You know, I say, deal with the pain, and there's things to be taught in the struggle. There are things to be learned in the struggle.
It's a journey.
It is a journey. It is a beautiful journey that we do not understand how much we are skipping and missing in life. Even when it sounds like it's going to suck, some of the biggest lessons I've ever learned have been when I've been in shit situations.
Yeah.
Situations. And that's why I would never personally want to do that.
Yeah.
And like I said, not everyone looks at it the same way. Some people just want to boom, boom, get tattooed, have a badass piece, don't care to talk to their artist, don't care to have any relationship with their artist. They just want a badass piece. They got money, they can pay, boom. And all of a sudden, everyone wants to be tattooed head to toe. And I've started seeing it. I was like, for one, a lot of these people's tattoos look the fucking same.
Yeah. If you look at that Instagram page of those people that do that tattoo sedation, they're all the same style. It's literally the same shit. And you know what? I lost my train of thought. But
my thing is, dude, what happened to being original? What happened to this whole originality? Like, that's what was cool to me. Like, people that were original. We talk about, you have people that are characters and you have people that play characters. Yeah. What happened to the cool people that are who they are and they're liked for who they are? I would rather be liked for I would rather be hated for who I am than liked for someone I'm not.
Absolutely.
What happened to originality, dude? Like,
absolutely.
And I get it. Everyone has a different view, but my personal opinion on it is like, dude, know what you're putting on your body. Know some research about it.
Yeah.
You know, at least have the love for the tattooing to do your research. Find a good artist. Take your time. Yeah. There's no need to rush. There's no need to compare. Yeah. I haven't always had, you know, this many tattoos, and I'm not even finished. And it's not that I even care. I don't care. It's my own journey. Yeah. I do it because I love it. I do my research.
You're passionate about it.
I'm passionate about it. I respect it. I respect it.
And you know what I'm noticing too from like these younger kids? They go straight for the face or hands.
Because they want people to see it.
They go for the most visible parts of the body. There's this kid, you know, that I cut with, he's literally has a fucking face tattoo. Nothing else. I'm like, bro, like teacher, I mean, maybe that's what he likes, but like I've noticed that is what I'm noticing. You know, you go back 10 years maybe, people cover their stuff up. They're like, oh, nothing below the elbow, because I don't, I want to be able to wear a shirt and not see any of my tattoos. But now it's like, look at me. I have tattoos. Look at me. Look at me. I want to be seen. I want the attention.
It's quantity over quality.
It's corny.
I'm quality over quantity.
Absolutely.
I would rather have a few pieces that are beautiful. That artist took their time. That artist is passionate about what they do. That artist and I have a relationship.
Yeah.
I have relationships with my tattoo artists because I sat there and talked to them for God knows how many hours.
Yeah.
And that's why, if you have a relationship with somebody, there's a lot of things that you can, grow from with that relationship. Who knows? But I think honestly, it's not my thing. To each their own. But that's the same thing. Is it gold or is it fool's gold? When I see somebody like that and they're talking about their tattoo, and man, you sat there and didn't go through any of the pain, bro, it's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
Tattoo artists have told me that. It is a rite of passage. In Japanese traditional tattooing, there are rites of passage. If you skip your rite of passage,
too, right?
Yes, there's story behind everything. And the thing that frustrates me is like, you don't skip the rite of passage. You don't it takes away the culture. It takes away the culture from me.
Yeah.
It makes me think.
It waters everything down.
Yeah.
And it makes it just
flavorless.
Yeah, it's like for a guy like you, for example, that took the time to get all those tattoos, and you're out in the world now with the guy that has just as many amount of tattoos, but no one knows the difference, right?
I don't care.
I know you don't care, but what I'm saying is it's like you, someone who went through, thousands of hours of getting tattooed, and then someone who spent 6 hours under sedation gets a tattoo. You won't know the difference unless they tell you, oh yeah, I got sedated for this shit. That's like, and everyone has their own opinion, but that's, you lose. I wouldn't respect that guy as much as someone who took the time, and earned it and went through the pain. It's that is very important. It's a part of the process. You build a relationship with an artist. You're not asleep, waking up, and you're a new person. Like,
no pain.
Yeah. No pain, no gain.
Now here's where I do see that it could be like if somebody had some crazy medical condition to where it was their dream to get tattooed and they couldn't because they couldn't handle the pain, or I don't know what circumstance. If it was some medical reason, I think it's a beautiful option to have. But if you're a healthy person and you're just going there because you're too much of a wimp, you don't deserve a tattoo.
Yeah. Earn that shit.
Earn it, man. Earn it. It's going to feel so much better.
Yeah.
Maybe not then,
but
after.
Most of these people are fucking...
It's wealthy. It's the wealthy people. Real wealthy celebrities that are getting it done. And the tattoos...
They might not have time. Maybe they're just like, oh, I got NBA season coming up and I got training and I don't got time to go this many hours.
You create time for things that are important to you.
Exactly.
If you don't have time, create time if it's that important to you.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. But it's just an interesting topic, to each their own. We can do whatever we want. That's not what I'm going to personally choose to do. I know that's not what you're going to personally choose to do.
Oh.
But that's what's going on right now, and it's just another thing that's getting watered down in this world. And I don't know, something about it. I just love.
Rubs you the wrong way. Makes you ick.
To an extent, because you got the same people that come up to you and asking you about your tattoos, blah, did it hurt, blah, blah, blah. Dude, I get that question so many times, and it's like, I got them all while I was sedated. It's like, dude, you have no story behind it other than whatever.
It's like if you were in it's like if you were in a jiu-jitsu gym and you spent 3 years getting your blue belt and one dude walks in and they give it to him immediately. I know that would never happen, but it's the same fucking concept.
You should not make the process easier.
Yeah.
Just to throw belts out.
It's like a participation.
You water down martial arts when you're throwing out belts like nothing, because somebody else had to break their arm to get that thing. They had to
go through recovery.
They had to wake up 5 a.m. to go train. They had to do all these things. Sacrifice.
Break your fucking tooth. It's a fucking
dude, I got my tooth knocked out. Not a lot of people even know that. I had spent $5,000 out of pocket because my insurance didn't transfer yet
before
after I got out of the military.
That's But you go through the ringer for shit, man. You earn it, and it means more. It means more. You appreciate shit more. You take care of it more, and
you value it more.
And it matters more. Yeah. You know, it matters more, and that's the difference. Society definitely waters shit down.
It's the same thing when we went through boot camp. Dude, they keep making everything easier and easier and easier. It's not the same. You don't get the same, like, damn, I went through something. I went through something with my people. You get like, what the hell did we just do?
Would you make Navy SEAL training easier for people that can't make it through? Fuck no, because if you're going to be a Navy SEAL, you're going to be a fucking Navy SEAL.
Exactly.
You know, you're going to earn it. You're going to earn it in 2023 just like they earned it in fucking 1950. You know, and it's tradition. It's culture.
It is. There's so much culture in tattooing, and I can't.
It's a trade.
I can only talk about this because I'm a barber by trade also, and dude, there's culture that is similar between barbering and tattooing and stuff like that. And dude, there's so much culture tied to tattooing.
Culture and tradition, man. You know,
and I'm not saying keep a tradition if it's terrible, but I think you should earn a tattoo.
There's nothing like walking into a old, just American traditional shop, Sailor Jerry shop, man, and I got mostly American traditional stuff, and the history of American traditional tattooing is it's dope,
You're an outlaw. Back in the day, you were outlaws, dude. You know what I mean? You know how much judgment I've gone through with all my tattoos? And I'm not even from the olden days. Yeah. But, dude, you're an outlaw. There's so much culture in...
Dude, sailors would go overseas, come back with fucking tattoos, man.
Dude, if I was a tattoo artist, think about this. If I was a tattoo artist and you were a tattoo artist, I wouldn't even want to be the tattooer doing these tattoos on people.
Oh, no. Fuck no.
That would take away my passion.
It's called...
It's cheesy, bro. Like,
it's called selling out for money, bro.
That's what it is. It's money. It's money.
It's money driven. It's not passion, tradition, or culture driven.
And it's sad to see in that aspect for me, at least.
You watch those Japanese tattooers, the Hiroshi. What's the head tattoo? The family.
The head guy right now is Horiyoshi the Third.
Horiyoshi the Third, whose father
Hori is
Hori. That's what I was looking for. But his father was a tattoo artist. Their father was a tattoo artist.
And we're talking about digging.
Yes, stick and poke type shit.
It's called tabori, and they're sticking you with needles.
And the cool.
They're not sedating you doing that, bro. A tradition. That's a perfect. Yeah. A traditional Japanese tattoo artist that does tabori is not going to sedate you.
And you don't
get out.
You don't get to come in there and say you want this and you want this changed to that way.
He's gonna tell you.
He says, "Hey, I'm gonna fucking put a story on your body for what I feel is your character and what energy I'm getting from you, and I'm going to create art on your body based off how I'm feeling about you, what story I want to create on your body." Because, I mean, everything has meaning, but especially in Japanese tattooing.
American traditional tattooing.
It has meaning too, absolutely. But
American traditional, a lot of their
stuff
came from Japanese traditional tattooing.
It all comes together.
All right, guys, that wraps up today's episode. Thank you guys for staying till the end. We really appreciate you. Thank you to everyone that's already been supporting us, man. We've got tremendous feedback, tremendous love already. Thank you to anyone that's done anything in support of our podcast. if you want to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that helps us out. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone.
Yeah, we're just trying to grow a community, man. Try to make this great, and we know it ain't perfect yet, but we're working on it. And every day we're try to get better, man. So we appreciate all the love and support.
That's right. Go grab you a pumpkin spice latte. It is officially spooky season. So.
Oh yeah, get your costumes out. Get your snow bunny costumes out.
Tell us what you're gonna be in the comments for Halloween this year, guys.
Enjoy your weekend.
Enjoy your week. Enjoy your weekend. Tune into those fights this weekend on UFC. And yeah, God bless. Peace and love. We're out.
Peace.